Hello, everybody. Welcome to yoga tonight. Um, Hope you are doing good. It's nice to have a little bit cooler, less humid weather as we do our practice tonight. So, my name is Mimi, for those of you that haven't met me before, and I'll be leading us through pretty gentle, accessible, all around class. And you don't need much equipment or anything for class tonight. It'd be great if you have a mat, but if you don't, you could probably do it on the floor or on a beach towel or a rug. It would be useful if you have yoga blocks. You can grab them, and if you don't have yoga blocks, maybe grab a couple of big, thick books and a firm pillow for yourself. Those two things will be useful as we start our practice tonight. And you might want to have some water nearby too. All right, so we're going to start our practice by coming onto our backs. And you're going to want that firm pillow, or you're going to want your yoga block, whichever it is that you have. Probably not the book, though. You might use the books as a block substitute later on underneath your hands. All right, so come onto your back. And as you do it, go ahead and bend your knees. Then place the soles of your feet on the floor. And then you're going to take hold of that pillow, push into your feet, lift your behind up off the floor, and slide your block or pillow underneath you. And then just adjust it into place. So make sure that it's in a comfortable place and that you can put the entirety of your weight down onto it. So that's probably closer to your tailbone and the back of your pelvis than on your lower back. And then maybe play with the width of your feet, moving them a little bit closer, further apart, a little bit closer to your behind or further away. And relax your arms down by your side, maybe taking them a little bit away from the body. Palms can turn up towards the sky. Maybe you close your eyes and you just feel the skin on your face relax. And then see if you can feel the entirety of your body begin to relax. And with your eyes closed, or if that bothers you, you can always keep them lightly opened. Let's begin to shift your attention inward. So leaving behind whatever was going on throughout your day. Leaving behind whatever expectations or anticipation you have for the rest of your evening. And pulling the entirety of your attention into this space, into this moment in time. And then if you'd like, in these final few moments that will be here, you might take your arms and sweep them behind your head, and then soften at the elbows a little bit, drawing them out to the right and the left. And maybe with the hands floating to the space behind your head, you can feel more clearly the fact that you're in an inversion. And so anytime we figure out a way to lift our hips, lift our heart higher than our head, we're in an inversion. So it doesn't need to be a headstand or a handstand. It can be something as simple as this. And see if you can soften your belly and feel a little bit more action on your breath. The expansiveness of the inhale and the relaxation of your exhale, drawing the belly back and in. And we'll just take a few more moments like this. So a slow start to our practice by using this as a chance to kind of lay the foundation for everything that'll follow. Good, and then with your next breath, go ahead and bring your arms by your side. Can come onto the balls of your feet and lift up, then remove your block or pillow or whatever it was that you were using and lower your backside down. And when you lower your backside down, just take a moment to feel the solidity of the ground settling beneath you. And then pull your knees in towards your belly. So gathering them in, hugging them, taking either the fronts of the shins, or you could take hold behind the thighs. A little bit of rocking side to side. Good. And then keeping your knees in at your belly, and relax your arms down by your side, palm down. With an inhale, you're going to press your feet towards the ceiling at the same time that you reach your arms to the floor behind you. And then go ahead and come back to the starting place. And then do it again. So sweep the arms to the floor behind you, press your flexed feet to the ceiling. And then as you exhale, squeeze the knees in towards your belly, but not with the use of your hands. Contract in with the musculature of your belly. And then just do it a few more times. On your own, so you find a pattern and a flow that works for you. Good, and then the next time you sweep your arms behind you and reach your feet towards the ceiling, go ahead and stay there. And then begin to circle your ankles. Circling them around in one direction, and then circling them around in the other direction. And maybe wiggling your toes or pointing and flexing. And then lower your knees to the floor, your feet to the floor. And just bring your hands to your belly. And as you do that, take a couple breaths. Good, and then just continuing to warm up the joints of the legs. So we warmed up the hips, we warmed up the ankles. Now a little bit of work to the knee. You're going to draw your right knee in and catch hold behind your thigh. Good. You're going to reach your foot up towards the ceiling and then bend your knee. So similar to what we were doing before, only maybe you draw your thigh in a little bit closer to your belly so you feel more action or sensation in the back of your leg, your hamstrings. Good. And then lower that foot to the floor and catch hold behind your left leg, weaving your fingers together, drawing your belly towards your thigh. And then extend your foot towards the ceiling and bend your knee. And do it a few more times. Good. And then lower your foot to the floor. And then take your feet and walk them out towards the edges of your mat. Good. Have your feet planted solidly and don't move them any closer together. You're going to reach your arms up towards the ceiling, so straight up over your chest instead of over your head. And then bend at the elbow and take opposite hand to opposite elbow, or maybe if that feels a little bit too restrictive or confined, you just slide your hands back a little bit so that you're holding on to your forearms instead of the elbows. And then let your knees drop down to the right as your elbows stretch over to the left. And then come back to the center and drop your elbows down to the right as your knees drop down to the left. And come back up. And just keep doing that. And if you want, you might begin to have your head swing side to side as well. So maybe your head turns in the direction of your elbows. Good. And then coming back to the center, you're going to inhale. Open your arms wide, but remember which arm was closer to your face. And then bring your arms back into that same position, but take the opposite hands closer to your face. And we're going to do just a few more. So dropping your elbows to one side and your knees to the other. Just a few more rounds. Good, and then come to the center. Once again, bringing hands to your belly and just pause to feel. And so again, we're taking just a nice, slow, easy practice tonight. It's methodically moving through the body bit by bit, releasing tension, increasing mobility, shaking off whatever tension has accumulated in your body throughout your day. And then we're going to roll over to the side and just bring yourself up to a seat. Good. And once you come to a seat, we're going to find our way into a tabletop position. And so you'll stack your hands underneath your shoulders and have your knees directly underneath your hips. Good. And then we're going to take our hands just a little bit forward. So shoulders are slightly back of the palms. All right. Go ahead and inhale. Dip your belly down. Pull your shoulders back. Open up through the heart and the chest. And then as you exhale, round through the back of the body and sit your hips all the way back towards your heels. They might not touch, but you want to push back in that direction. And then come on up. And once you arrive, you'll inhale, dip your belly down, pull your shoulders back, lift your chin. And then exhale, round, and bring your hips back towards your heels. I'm gonna do it a few more times. So finding a pattern of movement on your own. And maybe just one more cycle. And then the next time you pull your hips back towards your heels, go ahead and stay there. So the head bows to the earth. Forearms soften to the ground. And take a few more deep breaths into the back body. A few more moments. Good. And lifting your head just enough to get some clearance, walk both hands, both arms over to the right. So you begin to find some curvature in the upper body, and maybe notice that the sensation along that left-hand side of your rib cage is a little bit brighter. And then come back to the center. And over to the other side. So walking both hands over to the left. Sit your hips back, reach your arms forward. And take a few moments here. And then come back to the center and pause. And then come on up to your tabletop once again. Okay. You're going to stretch your right leg behind you and just bring the ball of your foot to the floor. And as you do that, push through your heel and feel the stretch to the back of the calf muscles. So you might push and hold steady. You might pulse a little bit. Just a couple more moments here. And then off on the push of your heel, you're going to take your foot, you're going to cross it behind you and bring the ball of your foot to the floor over to the left. And then curve in your waistline and take a look at that left, right heel. So you're looking over your left shoulder at your right heel. And then just bring your knee back in. Good. And we'll do the other side. So you're pushing through the heel, so resting on the ball of your foot, pushing through the left heel. Taking a couple moments here. And then taking that foot and hopping it across over to the right-hand side, curve, and look at your heel. And then bring your knee back in. And walking your hands forward of your shoulders just a little bit more. You're going to spread your palms, tuck your toes under, lift your hips up and back. And find your way to a downward facing dog. And in your downward facing dog, just take a few moments. You might swing the hips a little bit, side to side. You might shake your head, yes or no. Just taking a few moments here. And then begin to walk your feet up towards your hands, and then soften your knees. And just allow your upper body to hang down over your thighs. Release your head and your neck. Just let yourself hang down. Good, and then see if you can bring your hands mid-shin, and you're gonna push and come to straight legs, straight arms, and a flat back. And just hang out here for a few breaths. Maybe draw the shoulders back so that they're not spilling forward. Let your nose point down to the ground so you're not lifting your chin. Hold for a couple breaths. And then bend your knees and let your upper body just slide down again. Crown of the head reaches towards the floor. And just have a sense of spilling over your thighs. And then doing that one more time. Hands are going to come mid-shin. You're going to press to straight legs and a flat back. Nose is level with the horizon. Good. And then see if you can stay like this and bring your arms out like a T. Hold yourself here for a couple of breaths. One more moment. Good. And then bend your knees. You're going to sweep your arms forward and up as you rise to stand. Good. Arms are overhead. Gaze is up towards the ceiling. And then join your hands in at heart center. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale. And let it go. Go ahead and relax your arms by your side. We're going to do some shoulder rolls from here. So just going to simply take your shoulders a couple times backwards. So really squeezing tips of the shoulder blades together as you do this. If you've been sitting at a computer or a desk or doing a lot of driving, this might feel especially good. And then go in the other direction. Nice and simple. And then go ahead and relax the shoulders down. And then bring a hand to your heart and another hand to your belly. And then if it's comfortable for you, close your eyes and see if you can really spread out through the soles of your feet. So you feel rooted, you feel grounded, you feel alive. And let's take a few breaths here. One more. And then relax your arms down. So if you've got those books or blocks, you're going to take them and you're going to bring one to either side of your feet and stand straight up at the top of your mat. You're going to bring your hands to your heart and we're going to flow through a half sun salutation. So inhale, sweep your arms up high and wide, looking towards the ceiling. And then exhale and do a big swan dive down. Hands are going to come to chin. Send your heart forward, send the crown of your head forward. Inhale. And then exhale, soften your knees and pull down. Inhale, sweep your arms high and wide, reaching and looking up. And exhale to heart center. Take a deep breath in. Let it out through your mouth with a sigh. Good. And let's do it again. So inhale, let your arms sweep down and up, look up. And then exhale, pour yourself down over your thighs. Inhale, shoot your heart forward, pull your shoulders back. And exhale, soften your knees and go down. Inhale, arms are going to sweep. Reach up, look up. And exhale, bring it all together in the heart. And one last time. You're going to inhale, sweep your arms up. And exhale, bow your way down. Inhale, shoot the heart forward, send the hips back. And then soften your knees and bring your hands to your blocks and step your left foot back. You're going to bend deeply into that right knee. Good. So come into a nice deep lunge. Lift your heart. Push through your back heel. Take a couple moments here. Really making sure that back leg is vibrant and straight. And then straighten your front leg. You might hop your back foot in a moment. You can adjust your hands and bow in over that front straight leg. Reach your heart forward. Take a couple moments here. Maybe draw your kneecap upwards. As in contraction in your thigh. Take another moment. Good, and then deeply bend back into that right knee. You're going to keep your left hand where it is and reach your right arm up for a twist. Take a couple moments here. One more breath. Again, keep that back leg active. Lower your right hand down and dip your back knee to the floor. You can keep your back toes tucked under, maybe point them behind you. Bring your hands to your hips and come upright. Find your way so that you're balanced. So you might move your foot over, you might make some small adjustments. Keep that left hand or right hand, on your hip. And go ahead and send your left arm up and sink your hips forward. Reach that left arm up a little bit more as you lean into a back bend. So you lead with your fingers, lead with your thumb, and let your head, your heart, your belly follow. Take another moment here. Good, and then as you come up, you're going to lower the left hand to the block, lower your right hand to the block, straighten your front leg. You're going to flex that foot and bow forward. Reach your heart towards your big toes. Towards your jaw again. The kneecap slides up the leg. Take a few more breaths. And then take your right leg, and you're just going to slide it back. to meet the left. Move the blocks out of the way and find the child's pose. So just bring your big toes together, knees apart, and you're bowing forward. Few big breaths into the back body. You always fold hands underneath your head. And a little lift beneath your skull. One more breath. Good. And then come on back to your tabletop. Walk your hands slightly forward over your shoulders, tuck your toes under, and send your hips up and down. A little time here. And then begin to walk your feet up towards your hands. Soften your knees, drape the upper body forward. And then sweep your arms high and wide, reaching up, looking up. Draw your hands into your heart. And then just stack your hands. So you've got one hand on top of the other. And you can dip your chin towards your chest. Spread through the soles of your feet. And just take a few breaths. And we'll relax our hands by our side. And before we do the other side, just going to do a little bit of balance. So you can walk your feet in so they're side by side or maybe about hips width distance apart. And then we're just going to simply rise up onto the balls of our feet and lower down. So you're going to inhale, sweep your arms up overhead as you rise slowly to the balls of your feet. And then exhale and lower down. And we'll do it a couple more times. So you'll inhale, rising up to the balls of your feet, reach the arms up overhead. And exhale. And just keep it up. Slow and slow. Next time you rise up to the balls of your feet, just go ahead and stay there. And level off your chin if you're feeling a little bit wobbly. See if you can rest your eyes someplace, like an anchor. And then over the heels, lower your hands, and bring them right back into your heart. So as you come up to the front of your mat, as we prepare for the other side, and go ahead and make sure that your blocks are in place. Bring your hands in at your heart. And we'll begin. Inhale, sweep your arms up. And exhale, down. Inhale, straight legs, and the back. Bring your hands to blocks. You're going to take your right foot back and you're going to find a lunge. Step the foot back far, bend deeply into the front knee. Push through your heel, lift your heart. Time out here, couple of breaths. And then straighten your front leg. You might hop that back foot in a bit. And adjust your hands. Just lengthen your heart. Lengthen your chest out over that front thigh. Good. And then coming back to a bent front leg. That right hand can press to the floor or press to a block. And the left arm is going to sweep up for a twist. Keep pressing for your back heel. Let that leg be dynamic. And then lower both hands to your blocks and dip your back knee to the floor. Untuck your toes, hands to your hips, pause. And then release your right arm by your side. Lift it up towards the ceiling. And then as you sink your hips forward, lift up a little bit more. Track that thumb back. Lift your heart. Lift your gaze. Find a taste of the back bend. One more breath. Good. Lower your hands to the blocks. And you're going to slide your hips back, flex your foot, and reach your heart forward. Take a couple more breaths. Good. And then finish to wriggle that left foot back and move your blocks out of your way. Walk your hands forward of your shoulders. We're coming to a downward facing dog. So lifting the hips up and down. Spreading through the palms. And then shifting forward to a high plank. So bringing your shoulders over your wrists, and you can stay like this. And you might just dip your knees to the floor. Let your gaze come forward rather than dip to the floor. And then lower to your belly. All the way down. Point your toes behind you. Settle the pelvis down. And just fold your hands underneath your head. And relax into the support of the floor. Take a few breaths. Slide your hands. So right underneath your shoulders. Draw your elbows in against your ribcage and extend through the toes. Good. And then see if you can lift the chest and the head, but not by pressing into the floor. So no pressure on your hands. They're just kind of holding your place. And you use your back. You summon the muscles of your back to lift them. Relax through the neck and the jaw. Maybe test if you're holding yourself up by your hands, by lifting them up off the floor. And lower down. And turn your head in the opposite direction. Good. And then square your chin off, squeeze your elbows in, roll your shoulders back, and lift up. And one more moment here. Lower down. And turn your head in the opposite direction. Good. Push yourself back to the tabletop, and then join your big toes together. Let your knees go wide, and find child's pose. From your child's pose, go ahead and sit up and swing your legs around to the front of your mat. And bring your hands behind you and bend your knees. And lock your hands in close enough to you that you're not totally slouching backwards. So you're pretty upright. Make sure your feet are wide and make sure they stay wide, just like we did when we were on our backs at the very beginning of class. And you're going to keep your feet wide, drop your knees to the right, and look over your left shoulder. And then inhale, come up to the center, and drop your knees to the left, and look over your right shoulder. And you're going to go back and forth like that, side to side. And you might find that your behind begins to walk closer to your heels or away from your hands. You can always scoot yourself back if that's happening. And then come upright. Good. Make sure your feet are wide, make sure that your back is upright, and just drop your legs down to the right and come upright. So you're going to free that left hand so that you can sit balanced. Take both hands to the outside of that right thigh. And begin to walk yourself in a semicircle. So pressing on the floor, using it as leverage, twisting in the upper body. And this nice, juicy, ringing quality to the upper body. And you can pause right here. Or you might decide that you're going to come down to your forearms. And if your forearms don't reach the floor, maybe you grab that block or whatever it was that you're using to prop yourself up during class, and you stick that underneath your forearms. Release your head. And draw that left heel in. And then you might notice that it's not really hard to breathe in this kind of twisting shape. Lots of pressure on the belly, lots of pressure on the abdomen. And see if you can work with it. Breathing through it or past the pressure. And then come on up to your palms and around through the front. Hands are behind you, feet are apart. Keep them wide. And swivel your knees and your hips down to the left. Bring up that right hand. Bring it to the outside of your left thigh. You're going to kind of walk around in a semicircle using your hands to get that juicy twisting action. Hang out here. Or drop down to your forearms. Release your head. Maybe you draw your heel in a little bit closer. Take a couple breaths. A few moments. And then press into your palms. Come around towards the front. Hold on to the fronts of your knees or the backs of your thighs. And you're going to roll yourself down. Go ahead and reach for your block or your pillow or whatever you were using underneath your behind at the beginning of class and have it handy. Once you've come down to your back, maybe you take some time and squeeze your knees in towards your belly and rock a little bit side to side. And then lower your feet to the floor. You're going to hold on to your block. Press into your feet and lift your pelvis upward. And then slide that block underneath you. Let your weight sink down. Good. Take a little time. Relax your arms by your side. And then we're going to bring our feet up to the air, if you'd like. Some of you might decide to keep your feet on the floor. Others might keep your knees bent and just lift your feet up. If you want to take it one step further, maybe you send your feet towards the ceiling. And the arms can come into whatever position you feel like is going to help you stay balanced in this inversion, another type of inversion, with as little effort as possible. So arrange the arms in a way that helps make the whole pose easier. Not like this for about a minute more. And anytime you want to bring your feet to the floor, you can. And maybe as you bend your knees and drop your feet to the floor. Hands can come to your belly for a moment. And then press into your feet, lift up and get that block out. And feel that any sense of relief, just the support of the floor that enables you to just let go. And then draw your knees in towards your belly. Hug them in tight, rock a little side to side. And then open your arms wide, and your knees come down, stacked one on top of the other. Roll. Keep rolling the chest open. And trying to drop the back of that right shoulder towards the floor. And then come on up to the center. Knees stay in, close to the belly. And drop your knees off to the other side. And let's go back. And let's shoulder, downward. Everything up. And come on up through the center. Squeeze your knees in towards your belly. And lower your feet to the floor. And from here, we're going to come to a couple minutes of rest. And a couple minutes of lying in stillness, with your knees bent, your arms extended, and the arms in your way. You can assist with the process. Close your eyes. And just allow yourself to relax into this opportunity. And we'll just be here for about 2 minutes. Notice if the mind gets restless, and notice if the body gets impatient. And if that's the case, see if you can redirect your energy to your body. And then slowly begin to deepen your breath. Maybe you reach your arms overhead and you stretch and wiggle. And then bend your knees. Then roll yourself off to the side. And come on up to a seat. And you're going to come to sit on your block or pillow or maybe just the floor. And bring your hands to your lap. Relax your shoulders down away from your ears. Keep the eyes closed and take a soft, sweet breath. Breath that reminds you of the ease of sound. And then dry your palms together at your head. And take a deep bow of gratitude, appreciation, and time that we spent here together tonight. Thank you very much for joining me. There's only going to be 2 more classes in this online format. So we'll have a class the second week in August and the 4th week in August. And then these virtual classes are going to end, and what is next is yet to be decided. So I hope that if you've been enjoying these classes, that you'll join me for the last two, and know that you can always return online over and over again to watch the classes that have been recorded in the past. So on the YouTube site for Thunderweb, you can watch them and do them whenever you want. I hope you have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you soon.